Are you recording the stream right now, by the way?
Yes.
Alright, I just want to make sure because someone just started playing music in the other room, and I'm going to mute myself anytime I'm nearby. That way it doesn't play through on the end.
Gotcha. Alright, welcome to Zondell, Lands of Discordance, Dungeons & Dragons 5e campaign. We have several of our players here. One won't be able to make it, and one is planning on being a bit late. But we've got regular main campaign people all back. So, we continue where we left off last with the party, some of them resting, some responding to horrifying screams coming from some of the basement levels of the castle, where several guards in armor were either pinned against a wall or the ground, with the exception of one that was being pulled into the sewers, who was rescued, but another pulled in, and more rescued. But two guards crushed by their armor and dragged into the sewers to feed that which the stars rejected, which, as they found out from getting the guards further away from the magnetic pull, and then suddenly feeling the pull again, is evidently moving up the sewers toward those in the castle. Lady Solarnum is discussing matters of how to deal with it, as well as the Heart of Darkness with Strahd and Giselle, when last they were seen. But none of the three went to respond to the screams. Again, on one of the basement levels, the guards pinned to the floor, trying to get up to get further away. Dobbs, Merrill, Sill, and Riordan are there or rushing off to get help.
Are we not in...
the front of the gate?
No, last I knew we were running from shit in your home dimension.
Yeah, then we got back and we're in front of the gate.
Ah.
They managed to get a teleport my thingamabob.
Yeah, so used her gate ability.
Again.
Right, and then you had managed to...
No, I wasn't here for that, that's all. So I didn't know.
Yeah. You had managed to get back and meet up with the others, and then that had happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we fighting stuff?
I hope so.
You're defying more than just gravity.
No, are we fighting stuff?
From a very long distance.
Okay.
So, as everybody is spread throughout the castle, between the screams and other guards being told to take off their metal armor, everybody else is one way or another roused from rest or discussions, as this approaching threat is causing chaos across the castle. Guests are being ushered to higher and higher floors to try and keep them safer. What do you all choose to do?
So does Darwin know that the thing's starting to come up from the sewers because of the fact that people are starting to get pulled down despite being previously at a safe distance?
I would say do an intelligence check at advantage.
Gotcha. Give me one sec. Man, I'm really hoping 15's high enough.
Yes.
That was not a good roll.
You can
Okay.
have a rudimentary idea of, even if not quantum physics and such, but basic physics. You know, gravity works, magnetism works. You know, things of that nature.
Alright, I know for a fact I've still got one more spell slot to use that I can use for a skywrite. So what I'm going to end up doing for that is just skywrite short message into the sky, 10-word limit, threat moving up sewers, remove metal, dawnstone weapons. Please. There we go. Perfect message.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I should do Dash Darwin instead. That way they know it's from me. Yeah, we'll probably do Dash Darwin. That way they know it's from the guy who's been saving people's lives or something like that. I don't know. Let's hope they know who I am. That's a good thing. That's a good question, actually.
Make
So
a
where are we exactly?
persuasion check.
Standard persuasion?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Give me one
You
sec.
are on the second to lowest basement level presently.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, this plus 10's gonna be coming real handy. How's the 26 sound?
While you are more or less just moved up enough to get to a window and skywrite it, you can't see or hear everybody in the castle to know who is watching, but you can definitely hear the sounds of metal hitting against a stone.
Well, that's good enough for me. If they didn't bother to listen, then that's their fault, because I can only do so much considering how low I am on spells right now. I mean, from that point, I guess I'm just going to double check on the... Darwin's just going to double check on the couple of guards for right now.
Syl is going to go find Dare.
Okay.
And Riordan is going to keep helping the guards.
Okay. And Dobbs.
I follow Syl.
Kale.
I will follow as well.
Do you know how to spell the word sheep? No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Do you know how to spell eat them?
Yes.
Me, please, please. All right. So, Meryl, as Darwin is looking over the guards, it is apparent that they're not presently being crushed, but there is creaking of the metal as it is being pulled harder and harder against the stone.
Alright, he's just going to focus right now on trying to get all that off. Undoing collapse, straps, that kind of stuff. Focusing on armor first, since that's going to be the main thing that's going to do damage if they are getting pulled.
Okay.
He's going to try and focus on whatever piece is on top, because obviously if the middle piece is already on the ground, it's not going to do the crushing. It's the piece that's on top of him that'll end up doing the crushing. So he's going to focus on getting that piece off first.
Okay.
Kind of going around to each person, taking that piece off.
Just go ahead and make a general dexterity check.
General dexterity?
Yeah.
Gotcha. One moment. Fuck. 14 good enough?
Of the
I have the feeling it's not.
Of the 3 guards, you managed to get off the breastplate of 2 of them without much difficulty, even though it takes a bit of time. But the 3rd one, as you are getting over them, you can already see that part of the breastplate has caved inward and they are bleeding from a wound that is being caused. They are shaking and trying to move their arms, but they're starting to cough and have difficulty breathing.
Well then, I'm gonna work even faster. I'm kicking it into maximum overdrive. We are getting this man's chest plate off before he becomes a concave spoon.
Okay. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Right, sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Gotcha, one moment. Oh, that was lucky. I got 18.
Okay. You manage to get the piece of metal off and using your strength and leveraging it, flip it just enough off of the guard before it crushes into the stone next to them. Part of their armor is still pinned down, but it is not going over their chest. Their arms are all still stuck as they're pinned there, but it's less edges to bend inward because it's circular more for the bracers and for the shin guards and things of that nature.
Gotcha. It's just going to kind of go, that one's just going to be basically removing pieces of metal based on how close it is to severing body parts or crushing body parts. So like if one of them looks like it's about ready to like concave or anything like that, he's going to focus on getting that off first. Essentially whatever is causing the most pain, I guess.
Okay. So, while you work away at that, so go ahead and make a investigation check as you're looking for him.
Yeah. That is a 22.
Okay. After a bit of searching, you do end up finding him. He is on a balcony, a few floors down from the top, trying to calm some of the other guests.
Alright. She's gonna ask him, and those that are following her, if they would like to leave this place.
Are Kale or Dobbs trying at all to follow more stealthily or just more obviously?
I'm not stealthing.
Sure, stealthily.
Alright, Kale, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay. That is a 21.
So, what is your passive perception?
24.
So yeah, you notice Kale trying to more or less hide behind pillars and hide behind Dobbs.
Yeah, that's why I was like asking those people that are following me, because she knows they're there, if they want to leave this place.
So,
Dob shrugs.
Not particularly.
So you're going to stay and help everyone?
I feel I should retreat and rest.
so I want you to decide if you were trying to say that quietly or not.
uh, yeah, okay. She was trying to say it quietly. Stealth? Or... What do I need to roll?
If you're trying to say it quietly, then roll stealth, and we'll see whether or not anybody that Dare is trying to calm overhears you saying that you have a way of getting out.
Oh, okay. That's a 27.
There's so much bickering amongst each other and trying to get Dare to help them that doesn't seem anybody heard you. Except for Dobbs
Fantastic.
and Kale.
I have a 23 in my response.
Alright.
So Dare eventually convinces them that perhaps standing out on the balcony where there's probably more possibility of, if you've got something metal, an easy route of, who knows, this thing moving just slightly to the side while underground and dragging you over the edge of the balcony versus just being pinned a few people back out of the area. So we're still milling about, but Dare looks at Syl with their offer. Says, if we're going to do that, I want to see if we can find my father first. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I'd that dude probably left already. But okay, we can look for him. He's been gone since we got back, right?
For a bit. So,
All right.
Leviathan,
Yes.
what is your Goliath done? As you've managed to keep away from the hole, but Darwin is helping armor being removed from some of the guards that were being pinned to the ground after getting away from the sewer entrance itself.
Are there any guards currently left that need help?
Not in the immediate area. There might be elsewhere in the castle, but at least where you were, the two that you weren't able to help, plus the ones that are already still on the ground being helped, are what you can see and know about around you. So,
Is there any alcohol nearby?
go ahead and make an investigation check.
I got 16.
Alright. You do find that there is a room in the basement that does have what appears to be a goblet sign on it. Inside of it, there are several casks.
Is the sign metal or wood?
It is wood.
And are there any guards that still have pieces of armor on?
Not in the immediate area. So, inside the room that has the sign with the goblets, the different kegs simply have different dates and just few symbols on them. What languages does your character speak?
I speak Common, Draconic, Giant, Sylvan, and Thieves' Cant. Wait, is that right? Thieves? Wait a second. No, I speak Common, Draconic, Giants, and Sylvan.
Okay. Best you can understand from the words, the year is when it was made, and the other letters seem to be Sylvan and just mentioning the place or person that did the harvesting.
Does it show like how strong the alcohol is on the side?
It does not. you could perhaps try finding out by testing it, but it is not displayed like a place that would be trying to sell it, more along the lines of a place that has had a lot of wine for a lot of time and has just worked to keep a ready supply that's growing and using the older supply that has had time to mature.
How much do these kegs weigh?
They vary in different size. You could definitely pick up quite a lot of them. Some of them are about the size of a waste bin. Some are more like the size of a bushel of apples that's been filled. Some are even large enough that they're taller than you and set on their side with just a spout for being able to pour it into something else.
Well, then, I want to take 2 of the biggest kegs that I can possibly. I can lift. Wait. So I can drag 1,200 pounds worth of stuff. So I want to drag as much of the barrels of alcohol as I can. I want to drag the 2 biggest ones.
Okay.
I'm gonna drag them to the entrance of the hole if stuff has stopped flying past into it.
Presently, there isn't anything that is flying toward it or being dragged along.
Perfect. Okay. So what I'm gonna do? Wait, are the barrels big enough to where one will fit in the hole?
The casks would be able to fit. The larger barrels would have more difficulty doing it, simply because there's the stone grating that's in the way. Some of the casks are small enough that it can fit between part of it. It'd be a tight squeeze and probably break the cask in the process, but it is
Can I
possible.
rip up the grating?
I'm sorry, can you what?
Rip up the grating.
Go ahead and make a strength check.
Net 20 plus 5.
All right. So you are able to grip hold of the stone and just focusing for a moment, just lightly pulling in and pushing forward a few times, testing it, wiggling it to try and free it from the stone, and then suddenly just yanking it and part of the covering off entirely, leaving a open hole deep down in the dark. There is plenty of room to fit them in there now.
Okay, I'm gonna open up one of the barrels and just pour the alcohol, make sure that it coats the sides of the walls as far down as I can pour it.
Okay.
and I wanna pop open the other one, stick a rag in it, light it with my tinderbox, and then just drop it down the hole.
Um, you could try putting in an entire cask or keg into it, or you could try to dump it out. It depends on how far down that you're trying to make it go, and the fact that the bottles themselves are glass, so it is quite possible that it may not be as easily fixed to guarantee that it'll go down far enough. You do think it would eventually go down, just running down the sides, but it may take a bit of time for it to provide something that can be burned or serve as poison, if that is your intent.
No, my intent is to create basically a long tunnel of light to see.
So yeah, like I said, you can use one of the casks and use another cask, and then use one of the larger ones and mix in the materials, and then light it afterward, using first a couple of the casks and then one of the kegs themselves. There's enough to get a good distance down, at least. Not all the way, but enough that is illuminating that while there do appear to be parts where some of the underground walls cause collapses in part of the sewer network, is still feasible to make a consistent enough mixture for setting it for light.
Okay, I'll do that.
As you are pouring it out, and some of the guards are in the middle of helping you with that. One in particular is staring at the hole and armor off, slowly making his way closer. This hunger or thirst, maybe, in his eyes as he's just looking at what is being used.
Do I see this?
Yes.
Can I try to knock him out?
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Would I just like use my strength modifier?
I would say that you'd use your modifier, but not your proficiency on that.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you managed to slug them and knock them down to the ground. As they're on the ground and they're breathing barely, you can see that there are small fangs in their mouth. And you can smell how sweet the alcohol is that has been poured down, but also what dark crimson that it is.
I just look at the other guards and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I think you used some of the blood wine.
No, I'm asking, what is the thing laying there that I just knocked out?
He's one of the guards. That's Dave.
Why does he have swing?
He's a damn fair.
I did not sign up for this.
Well, I did not sign up for having a big thing down in the sewers coming up and crushing people. But I'm still here.
Uh, fair points, I guess. Say, well, how about we light this? That way we can get this over with.
Alright. So, together with their help, we managed to illuminate some of the sewers down a good distance, a few hundred feet. And you can see the glow that was down below is higher up. It's still not high enough to where your light can go fully itself. But its inner radiance is enough to be able to at least see that it is still approaching.
Wait, you said it's 200 feet down?
Yes.
Or is it more?
The cliff itself is 300 feet between the sewer entrance and the exit. Now, it wasn't all the way down to the sewer exit. It was higher up. So it was about 200 feet there. And you're like...
Oh, wait. Is something coming up the pipes?
Yes.
And how far below me is it?
Right now, you would wager it is probably in the neighborhood of 160 feet.
Okay. I kind of have a really, really stupid idea right now, but, Who has my plate armor?
It is presently in a bag of holding.
Whose bag of holding?
Fennec.
Wait, is Fennec here?
Not presently.
But that would take too long to put on.
Yes, it takes about 10 minutes to put it on, I think.
Okay, I'm just gonna take as much of my plate armor out of the bag as I can and just drop it right down the hole.
What is it that you said you're dropping down the hole?
My plate armor.
Okay.
That's 65 pounds going 160 feet down.
I want you to make a strength check as you bring the plate armor over and are trying to get it into the hole itself.
Could I use athletics or only strength?
Only strength in this case.
$18.
You manage to get the majority of the pieces away from the floor enough that even though it is pulling you toward the hole, you're not being immediately dragged on your belly as being pulled closer together. can see just a bit of reflection from the metal as it clings into the walls a bit and finally lands down on the foe. That sensation of it tugging, however, has not lessened.
Wait, I dropped the armor, but I still feel the pull?
You were able to drop the majority of it. There are pieces that are like clasps and other things that are for putting the armor on that, with the strength check that you had, basically just the band that was holding them, some of the smaller pieces got pulled to the floor. The majority of it went in the hole. Alright. And then we will switch back over to Darwin. Go ahead and do a medicine check.
Alrighty. I'm actually just about to switch over to my computer, so hopefully the sound quality will go up in a second. I need to turn on the light to see where my dice went. Is that it?
Okay.
Fumbling around like an idiot. There you are, you beautiful bastard. Medicine check. 16, not bad.
Okay. The third one that took the longest to get fully loose after the injury that they had suffered is coughing a bit and blood is coming up.
Well, definitely sounds like a crushed ribcage, so. Oh boy. Not sure it's enough to healing spells that will actually matter. Of course, my computer is running slow. What? I got it.
So
Is he like? Is it clear it's real bad injury though?
it's hard to tell. There is some blood on his tunic, and the fact they coughed up blood. But you haven't like stripped them down to look at how bad it is exactly. But you imagine it's probably not good.
Yeah, I definitely get that strong feeling. What can I do right now? Oops. The thing is, I'm misery worthy of 7th level, but the issue is that how much more metal gear does he have on that's kind of getting pulled against the ground?
With the effort that you've taken, getting the others free after getting the breastplate off, and then them helping out with the next one, he doesn't seem like he still has any metal that he's wearing that is being affected.
His tunic's metal?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, more that he
well, if
doesn't
that's the
seem
case,
to
then
have
I
any
don't
metal
worry about
that's
him getting
pulling
punched.
him. He's just
Flattened.
been injured.
Okay. We will definitely go ahead. I... Come on, Google Chrome. Just stop being such a pain in the ass. I can't actually see. There we go. Okay, it took it a hot second, but D&D Beyond is done being home. All right. Actually, that should probably... Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do then a second level Cure Wounds on the... So that should be quite a decent amount back, as long as I don't really like hot garbage. I'll probably, like, pull up the tunic so I can, like, see the wound before healing it, just to make sure the tunic's on when it heals up.
Okay.
Alright, and let's pray for high value. 4. It's a 5, so 9 plus 3, 12. 12 back.
Okay. Seems to be breathing a bit easier. There's still blood on his tunic and on his lips, but it just hasn't dried up from what has already happened. Anything else that you would be doing with them?
I fucking have my microphone muted. God damn it. I was sitting there like, hello? Hello? Okay. I was just asking, are the other two that are there injured or no? They good enough?
Kind of like scrapes and small cuts, but not bad enough that they really need healing.
Like falling off your bike type.
Yeah. More or
Okay.
less.
That's like calling the 911 ambulance type of... Okay. Yeah, at that point, Darwin's probably just going to start working on dragging them away from the sewers then. Because that's about the next best thing he can do, is trying to just get them up, because I'm out of dimension doors. So yeah, we'll go ahead and with the most injured one first, since he may not be in the best state to walk. I'm just gonna start dragging them either upstairs, if that's the easier path, or further down the hall away from the stairwell.
Okay. Alright. It takes a bit of time, but the guards help you bring the more injured one further away. So,
What do you mean?
My God, what is wrong with your microphone?
What do you mean?
You sound like a clanker from Clone Wars.
He is a clanker.
It is.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine now. Okay, that was really weird.
All right. Yes. Do
So-
I need a roll to find Garnick?
go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Oh, that's a nat 1. Plus 8, so 9.
It takes a while checking first where Garnick was roomed before and asking around, but eventually, you're able to find him, and he is more or less still a couple of days after having come back to the Frost Heart and all this chaos happening, and the wish and everything that has gone on since then. Still trying to mediate between his former wife and mistress, who are verbally and physically trying to fight.
Okay. Uh. So, we found him, Dare. Now we can go.
He nods, looking at Garnick, the kind of slight gesture at basically, let's get out of here. He looks at the two women bickering and gives a roll of the eyes before trying to gesture for Garnick to quickly come with him. And Garnick is like, that one is your mother. So he points toward the mistress.
Hmm.
Dare looks at them and just gives a little nod. Didn't really get a chance to know them, so I don't know what I'm missing by that, but I think we need to all get out of here.
Definitely. I have a spell that can take us out of this place.
Yarnik just looks over at Sil and how many are you able to take?
Why?
Makes a good deal of consideration if later there's need to flee because it's not possible to get out many, and a panic might ensue.
I really just care about getting Dare and myself out of here. He wanted you to come along, and whoever wants to come along can come along. For as long as I can hold it open.
What are you planning on sending them all?
Has to be a place I've been before, and one place I thought was safe is not safe anymore. Um, mm, the other place I've been to is Deathhold. But time goes by differently over there. Stormhole. Storm. That stormy place that I don't like. The Barrows. But the three places that I remember have been destroyed, so I don't know if they've been repaired since we've been gone.
Unfortunately, I have no idea either. It's not been one of my concerns since Quebec. It is just surviving and the chance of something more toward normalcy. Myself in there, but it just seems trouble keeps coming.
Yeah. Ever since those first people came over here, the people you brought, everything's gone to shit. But that's not your fault, right? You didn't know they would do all this bad stuff. So, we could try going back to Shadehaven, but we don't know what'd be over there. Hello?
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
I could hear you.
I could
There-
too.
Is there an internet problem happening or something?
Yeah, I couldn't hear anyone.
Hmm.
So, Sill's gonna plan on going to Shadehaven, but the outskirts of Shadehaven.
Well,
So, if you want to gather anything that you need, I suggest we do it really quick.
suppose it depends on where you're choosing that we might end up possibly even stuck there a while. In terms of how many I should try to see we can get going through. Glances behind at Kale and Dobbs. He's not really met, more than just at breakfast, more or less. Gives a little nod in their direction, since Sol doesn't seem to be trying to stab them. And they're not a half-elf, so... or a full-elf.
Yes.
She's
Me
not
not
trying to
sta-
stab them yet.
Yeah.
As far as Garnet can tell. So, Garnet just simply is asking, where are you intending on setting it up? As far as where it's going.
I intend to take us to the outskirts of Shade Haven.
Okay. So, in addition to whoever Garnick might be able to get to come with Dare, Dobbs, and Kale, is there anybody else that you are specifically looking to try and get to go with?
Um, probably. Well, Count Strahd won't leave.
No, you don't know until you...
Yeah,
Are,
she'll
are
go.
we still running from the ooze?
Yeah. She'll go ask Strahd if he wants to leave.
Okay. Go ahead and do a investigation check to find Strahd.
23.
Okay. You do manage to find him. And he and Zella are in the process of kneeling on one knee as Lady Solarnum is just one hand each caressing cheek.
Huh. So I was gonna ask them if they want to save themselves so they could come back when they're a little stronger so we could defeat the thing.
Do you let them know where you're intending to go?
Shadehaven.
Okay. As you look for just a very brief moment, it looks like Strahd is narrowing his eyes and lip curling a bit as bearing Fang and about to say something. And Lady Solarnum just thinks up. I think that would be a very wise idea right now. Shard just sort of deflates out that peak of agitation. Gives a little, small, soft nod. How soon can you have it done?
We can go right now.
You should find those that are strong enough to protect those that are going through.
They better. Alright, but they better be able to run really fast.
The oh god, the quartermaster's still all laid up, isn't he?
Yes.
Fuck. Double time it. Bonus action dashes, and extra dashes, and a haste. To go to the quartermaster area and use this opportunity to exchange to get the blade of the storm giant before I leave with Syl.
Okay.
Still waiting for that bastard to wake up so I can find a better sword, but ain't no fucking time anymore.
Okay. So, as you are doing that, Leviathan, you are able to see that glow pulse brighter for just a moment, and there is just a brief hint of some bit of damage to the mass of the slime itself that is amorphously oozing and closing itself.
Let's see. Is there anyone around me?
Um, Presently, Darwin is still relatively close. Actually, no. They went with the others to get them out of there, so bring them toward Shard. So right now, no, it is just you.
I'm just gonna follow. I'm just gonna go the way that Darwin went.
Okay. Darwin, you're able to get them to somewhere where some of the healers are able to look at them more thoroughly, and Dobbs passing by, going toward the armory, with Goliath coming up from the basement and seeing you.
Darwin just kind of gives just a nod to Dobbs, assuming he's doing something related to what's been going on, and kind of looks over to see the Goliath running up and be like, "All right, assuming you're coming up here to help with something, run around, find every single guard you can, make sure they're getting that metal armor off. I want to see another guard pull down some tiny little sewer shaft and crush today." essentially Darwin's immediately gonna run up and just he's gonna first of all try and make a beeline for wherever the Archmage went. Because if that thing's coming up the sewers, they're gonna be needing that banishment thing a lot sooner than expected, so.
Okay. As you are looking for Archmage Lewis, go ahead and do a investigation check.
Investigation already. Actually, what is my bonus to that? That's not bad.
Negative 3,000.
Oh, fuck. No, I get a 12 plus 5. 17. Why did I have so much trouble with that for a second?
Alright. You do manage to find where he is at. Seems that he is looking very exhausted, sweating. The moment the door opens, he kind of twitches for a moment, like he's expecting something dangerous, and relaxes just a little bit, but continues working on a circle, trying to study it, trying to write it down, sketch diagrams.
Darwin asks if that's the banishment scroll that they were discussing earlier, because they're going to need it as soon as possible.
That's unfortunately among the books that were taken when... Well, they were taken, so I'm not able to... He just kind of gives a look at the door and leans in and just whispers, I'm not able to just look that up, as it's not one that is my usual repertoire.
So it's not in the library or anything like that. Shit.
Well, it could be in one of the many tomes, but we don't have a lot of time. And I sort of was tasked with figuring out, well, you know, just gestures at the magic circle on the ground.
Yes, but let's be perfectly honest. Is that magic circle going to help against the giant slime that's currently sliding its way up the sewers, ready to consume everything here?
Possibly.
Is it a better chance than us having that banishment scroll?
The banishment may or may not work. This could be a more permanent solution that I was tasked to deal with.
Is it an attack? A summon? Like, Archmage Lewis, with all respect here, now's not the time to be hesitant on the word giving when you have something that large and threatening clawing up the sewers. Because if something goes wrong, because not enough information is given out about what we're doing to stop it, I guarantee you there's going to be some big angry heads at the top of the chain that really aren't going to be happy with you.
Well, you remember how there was that pulse of magical energy that affected the staff and guests and such?
Yes.
Something of that nature could prove useful, especially if focused.
Something similar to like a very... How do I put it? Similar to the Scorching Ray spell I happen to use. It's a focused beam of something, but this is far, far more potent than, assuming. Possibly.
Well, yes, that's a possibility, though even a single spell is more limited in scope than what that pulse was capable of. It's a very potent source, which could be very useful right now.
How much more time do you need to get this done?
Well, at least know which plane, but narrowing down the scope, I think, narrowed it down to 20 miles. It's hard to tell without actually going through and knowing where the destination was intended to go. And then there's what we were told as far as what to expect there, which is not very good.
You say 20 months?
Miles, square 20 miles.
No, I was asking how much longer it would take for you to everything ready with this.
Well, as I said, could go through now, but I wouldn't know how close that would put us. It's without actually someone going over, finding it is impossible to know how long it will be to know for sure. It's a best guess right now. I'm just trying to narrow that a little bit more.
And Darwin's kind of doing that where he's just kind of sitting there tapping his foot, just pinching bridge of his nose, like thinking for a minute, like. Look, we don't got a lot of time based on how it seems like the magnetism force is getting stronger and stronger with this thing. And as it comes closer, it's going to get harder and harder to fight, especially if it makes it to the top of the castle. We're lucky since it's only coming up from the sewers, but we need something to at least slow it down so we have the time to deal with it.
At the mention of that, there's just a blink. Of course. The Strahd should hopefully know where it's been relocated, but the sphere of frozen time should be useful in that regard.
Oh, that does sounds very useful. The last thing I feel I need to ask you for. I've already managed to burn through most of the magic in me. Do you have anything that could be good for a little bit of a recharge?
Well, the sphere could be. Give you a bit of a rest in a much shorter period of time.
A sphere of frozen time?
Yes, it has its uses, and it's been put to good use and also nefarious purposes before. That's why it was secured last time. And then, for some reason, it was not in the artifacts. Strahd had mentioned that it was pulled out for something or other that they were encouraging. And they have it, but they haven't said where it is.
Does Darwin know like what the sphere of frozen time actually does, or is he just kind of inferring? Like, is that a thing that's been talked about, or is that like a common artifact that's talked about, or something like that?
It's not. Some of the party members who were there before Darwin had joined know about it. But
Darwin has like no clue what it does.
yeah, as far as you know,
Actuality.
it's just the name sounds like it would be useful.
Well, that's immediately what Darwin's gonna ask is, so what does it exactly do? Does it freeze time for an individual, or is it like it freezes an object or something like that, or is it?
Well, it's had a few different effects. Freezing time locally and letting events progress outside of it, except for those protected from it. Reversing time somewhat, able to peer back in time or to potential futures.
Wait. Said it can reverse time?
Well, at least from what my apprentice had said, it allowed the scriptori to be able to reverse time for a very short, very brief bit, and make their fight a fair bit longer.
It's a very bizarre thought of... The thing is, this thing had to have appeared recently. If we could rewind its time back far enough to the point of where it doesn't come here, we have quite a load of extra time before it gets here. And odds are it won't remember, if it has the capability to remember things at least, that it was here in the first place. So it may give us a chance to better prepare defenses and know where it's at and similar things. But if that's not the case, then...
Well, that's a possibility. I'm not entirely certain. The scriptori was able to put it to that use, and yet my apprentice was able to know that that had happened because they had been the one to fumble and activate it within Castle Ebon Peak itself, making everyone inside frozen in time until it was recovered when they had dropped it into the sewers in the first place.
Alright. Well, that's, again... It's a time game now. This thing... It's got a lot of time. And we don't have that much to deal with it, so we're gonna... Alright. Do you know where Count Strahd is currently in the castle? So I can ask him about the Sphere of Frozen Time.
I know where he was last. I don't know if he's still there, but he goes ahead and tells you the room and directions to it. Give you advantage on investigation.
Alrighty. Let's see if we can find this motherfucker. Alrighty. Well, that's what I call a 24.
Okay. So, as you go and you search, eventually you do find Count Strahd, and Soliloquy is in the middle of explaining their plan to leave the Frostheart entirely as you are arriving.
Well, I ain't got time to listen to the plan because we are on a time crunch. Darwin goes, Count Strahd, I hate to interrupt, but we may have an idea to remove this creature. But we need the Sphere of Frozen Time. From what the Archmage just told me, some of its abilities are almost exactly what we need in order to prep in advance for this creature to be able to take it out.
And how exactly would that be?
The first thing is there was mentions of it having the ability to reverse time. And if we are capable of getting it to reverse time for this creature far enough, because it has to have recently appeared in this region, if we can get it to reverse time for this creature long enough to the point of where it is no longer here, we will have more time to prepare defenses and prepare a more permanent solution. Additionally, it will allow those of us here at the castle, including myself, who have magic capabilities, to recharge in the event that we have to engage this thing. And with the extra time that we give, we can funnel more into our strongest spells and possibly beat it outright without the need of anything too flashy.
I'm not entirely
At the very
certain
least.
if it can extend too far back. It's not been tested intentionally for that, except by, well, many who used it against some of your allies. But I unfortunately must disappoint you in that I do not have a precise location for it at the moment.
Shit.
It, along with several books and scrolls and a few artifacts, went missing while you were all heading down into the valley to get to the sewers.
Out of character, is Stephanie Notphilus still with us?
Yes. She's not in the same room as you right now, but
And why is that?
because you didn't drag her along.
Yeah, we should have dragged her along because she has the information that we needed.
Or does she have information to defeat it, hopefully? Shimmer? Because I'm running out of ideas here.
Yeah, because I remember that we were at the gate. And we had Stephanie and some tree guy. And then we started up having to start it up inside the castle. So I don't know where those two went or how we got to the castle in the first place.
Well, you returned back outside the gates and went in. More or less, they were being checked for, being patched up after the fight and such, and fed to be debriefed in a bit. But Strahd's just been busy, so they're still waiting.
Then Sil's gonna go get Stephanie Notphilus and bring her back to Strahd.
Okay. Are you going to say anything before going to go and get them?
Yeah, she's going to say that she might have someone who could tell us where it is.
Where what is? The Sphere of Frozen Time?
Yes.
And how was that? You met somebody who left Castle Ebon Peak after you had gone in the valley?
No. We met. So that slime ooze thing that's causing all this chaos had consumed many and whatever the other one's name was, and it produced a half ooze with the memories of many, and that other person armored suit thing, as well as maybe the person who even summoned that ooze here.
I want you to make a insight check.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's not bad. So that is
Yeah, we have robotic saving throw
Uh,
for those.
27.
Okay. Lady Solarnum has definite interest in this figure as you're describing them. That they are attempting to appear aloof.
Alright. 27.
Does Darwin also see this?
Go ahead and roll your insight.
Probably not. I got an 11.
Yeah, you're not noticing it. Syl does seem to notice it though. It may be useful to have that information, though retrieving the sphere of frozen time and other artifacts could be of great use. Already we have sent out a group in order to attempt to obtain them, and they have met with failure and returned with the figurative tails between their legs.
Who was that group?
He starts listing off the individuals who had gone into the Shimmer.
Oh, those guys.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, screw Ronnie.
alright, well, do we,
We know that the artifacts had at least gone into the Shimmer. We do not know whether they've stayed there, gone elsewhere, or necessarily why they were taken.
alright.
It appears, at least from the briefing, that the one who took them was in turn captured and likely still there.
Who's the one that took them?
He glances over at Giselle. There's just this momentary glare before he softens. Giselle says, "My sister."
Okay. Do we know why she took it?
Unfortunately not. She messed up the magic circle that was being prepared to take people to the Shimmer in order to look for a phoenix egg. And she altered it from its previous destination and caused it to be damaged as she was leaving, so that it would be hard to track behind. She's taken scrolls, books, Sphere of Frozen Time, her sword, and enough rations for a month. I do not know what else she may have taken.
So, do you want me to take us to the Shimmer?
If we are able to get the staff and guests and others safely elsewhere, and then go and try to find Yllenda, and the means of either undoing or stopping the actions of this gargantuan slime, then it would be extremely beneficial. However, we do not know why Yllenda did this, and there may be perhaps an issue with bringing the entirety of those within the castle there, in addition to the fact that it is not a circle that is designed as a permanent portal to there, limiting how many are able to go through at a time.
Alright. Um, I don't know how the others are gonna get out, but I know how we can at least get out of here. And I don't know how we would be able to take care of a really large group of people once we get to the new place. So I think the fewer, the better.
Well, what places are you able to assist with sending them?
Places I've been to before, so Barrows, Stormhold, Frostheart, but it can't go anywhere else on this plane. It has to be a different plane. Deathhold.
As I recall, the Deathhold has a much slower passage of time than most other planes.
Yes. So that means time would travel faster outside of Deathhold. So we could stay there for a day, and a whole year would pass by over
And
here.
what of perhaps sending others through to it? Less panic if they're not waiting as long while we take the time to sort things out.
Well, I wouldn't be able to bring him back.
Not without going there yourself, no.
Right. There's also I've been to Mechanus, but that's not a nice place. Not Mechanus. What's that world? The Clockwork.
The Eternal Clockwork.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, the possibility of sending them to Deathhold might mean time for us to get things sorted here or find alternate place to bring them back to that has been secured. And ambition. If it does take time on our end, it will be very little on their own.
True.
And the other location seems from past debriefings to be potentially dangerous. You had mentioned
Oh.
Barrows, but there was some sort of infestation of some sort that was attempted to be destroyed with meteors.
Right. But that's in Shadehaven. I've been to the other, some other notable cities there that
True, but how long has it been?
about a year.
So we do not know at all what state other places may be.
Yep.
I suggest perhaps gathering up your compatriots. Perhaps one of them has a better suggestion, but for right now it seems to be most suitable to me. Otherwise, if there are guests that are from other planes, if you are able to cast more than once, then the possibility of simply sending them back to their own home.
Can't they just go back the way they came?
Some are able to perhaps do that if they live in the Frostheart, and some might not be able to if they were sent by other means and awaiting transport to get back.
Alright, well, they should contact the other planes and tell them they need to leave immediately.
I may have just had an idea. Well, I'm thinking back to when we polymorphed Lenny, right? I think the chances are we'd be able to polymorph this thing.
Go for it and tell us how it goes.
Really speaking, if we have a strong enough spellcaster,
We'll need more than one.
that's true.
A spell of such a nature has a limitation on the range that it may be cast.
Yes, that's.
And the last time someone looked at that thing, scared the living shit out of them.
I'm with them while they're discussing this, right?
Yes.
I say I just jump down there and smash it.
I think that's a great plan.
You might temporarily sate its appetite to buy a few seconds.
That's still the best plan we have. Go down there, champ. You have our full support.
Well, wait. If you polymorph me into something else, before I jump down, I can fight it.
Actually, I think I might have had a slight misunderstanding of the polymorph spell, because I forgot that if you kill it in its new form, it just reverts.
Reverts back. Yep.
Reversion is not necessarily a problem if we are able to get it somewhere else. Pick it up
True.
and toss it through a portal. The problem
Yes.
is getting close enough and succeeding in changing it. As far as turning a Goliath acquaintance here into something, I'm not entirely certain what be sufficiently powerful enough that is known.
We could try turning me into one of it.
So that's far outside anything a polymorph spell will be able to do.
That'd be hilarious if we could do that, though.
Well, no, that'd be great, because the thing is that he keeps his original, like, I don't know, character-wise, he keeps his original, like, mindset and everything. So he's literally just at which the stars rejected, but he's a good guy. The thing is that he'd be at max health. That thing down there is not at max health, because Dobbs fucking went ham on it. So,
Are you so certain?
well, if it ate something, then I mean, no, it did eat those 2 guards technically. Shit. Well,
They were just slushies by the time that they got down there.
yeah, true. If there's one thing I know about slushies, they don't provide much nutrition. That sounds really bad to say in the context of the situation.
No, I am a meat popsicle.
Pretty much.
So,
Part of me, the thing is that if it's just slowly squeezing its way up the sewers, technically speaking, we could just whittle it down. Because it's like, it's a very small space. We can easily duck around corners to, like, avoid getting hit by it. Because it's like, just peek, do something like a spell or anything like that, get down the drain as it's coming out, and it's like just constantly slashing at whatever bit pops up. Eventually it will die.
if it is
But-
not capable of doing more than thus far described.
Yes.
I certainly know that back in my heyday, as it were, I would not lay all my cards on the table at once.
But at the same time, we don't know if this thing is think that way is the issue.
Indeed.
Actually, does Darwin know if this thing's been rumored to be intelligent or not?
You're not entirely certain in terms of stories of intelligence, because most people tend to either run in fear or be killed, and others run when they see that. There are not really many that have tried to converse with it. Started going mad when they were near it.
Shit. You know what? I also forgot. This bitch can't fly, can it?
It can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting all the things that we had to do for the very first time we ran into it. It's like, oh yeah, this bitch shoots with lasers. It's got a fear effect. It fucking flies, which explains how it's coming up the sewer.
So, in other words, Big Goliath jumped down on it. Do big damage.
Oh. How much? Yes, isn't it a thing where most oozes tend to be like resistant to like bludgeoning damage or something like that?
I'm
Another
pretty
thing?
sure if a fucking 300-pound Goliath carrying 200 pounds of equipment jumped on anything, it would hurt pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, but this thing's a
Well,
bit.
yeah, but that's a one-time impact.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't have an unlimited
yeah, but-
amount of Goliaths with 200 pounds of equipment on their backs. Not to mention, odds are the Goliath isn't going to be able to do it again.
True.
Had I known this thing was approaching, we could have perhaps put the sphere of frozen time, even if we could not reverse it, to use in at least offering more arcane potential in recovery. And
Wait,
the potential of that sword.
wait, Strahd, sir. Do you have any ballista bolts? Hey, if we fire enough ballista bolts down the hole, it's sure to do something.
Yes, I do, but for that matter, you could just simply take a bunch of water and freeze it and toss it down.
Oh, that is a good point.
I mean, why don't we do that?
It could certainly buy us some time, but we don't know if it is going at its full speed even. It could be just moving slowly because it doesn't feel threatened.
To be honest, I doubt that thing will ever feel threatened in its existence. Being
Wait.
snot out of it.
Whenever we left it, was it in the middle of the fire?
But yeah, I forgot that you were trying to set that thing on fire for God knows how long.
Because if it's an ooze, then technically it should have a boiling at some point. If we can get it to boil.
That may be
That's-
so, but I don't know that producing enough heat for that, especially at the distance, won't, well, boil the one who is doing it.
If it's floating up the sewers, all we gotta do is just keep on pouring whatever flammable substances we can and heating it up. Which is what it's currently doing, by the way. It is currently, like, snaking its way up the sewers, so... Just in case that wasn't made clear.
Not only that, but those who
Made quite
have
clear.
prestidigitation or any kind of flame spells can add to the heat of this creature, and eventually will reach its boiling point.
Oh man, I really wish we had a MacGuffin right about now. Not a MacGuffin, I'm thinking of the wrong word. What is the word I'm thinking of here?
I'm literally at the
I
point
think
where I
that
just
you're
want to
thinking of
jump
the
down
right
the sewer
word.
and kill him.
You're thinking of an item like, say, the One Ring or other special magical...
I'm thinking more of Golden Gat, but that works too.
Well, I'm just saying, a MacGuffin is like, it's an item that is a plot device that is, you know, useful for the situation that you need it for.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something. A big bank of artifacts. Something that could be of use. There has to be something.
Well, as we said, the Sphere of Frozen Time could definitely have been of use. It's got that sword, and they both are in the Shimmer with Yllenda.
What else? We gotta think outside the box here. 'Cause whatever this thing is, it's not gonna give us much time to do so. The
I
sooner we
say
think
coat
of
the
ways
Goliath in alcohol, set him on fire, and let him jump down.
Well,
That might
Yeah,
give the
I'm
little
good with that.
indigestion.
I'm okay with that plan.
Darwin just kind of like freezes in place at that suggestion, then just slowly rests his head in his hand, just.
Honestly, right now, if we are able to get everybody out safely, and we can deal with it after finding something suitable enough, that will be sufficient. The castle is a collection of things, but if there's not something to eat, it is most likely just going to either remain sedentary or go somewhere else. That does not bode well for the village. The villages that dot the valley, but not entirely certain what else we have that would be sufficient enough.
There has to be something. We have the bodies. We have a massive collection of talents here. The intellect. We have the willpower. This is
We can
something that
keep
threatens a
throwing
lot more than
soldiers
just...
down on fire.
Darwin just kind of looks over the glass and be like, "Look, man, just
Stand there and
please,
look
just
pretty.
get your chance to set the big thing on fire. Please. I'm going to do a rousing speech here.
A rousing speech, huh?
A,
Not very
like, there's an A, then there's a space, and then rousing. Not arousing. A rousing.
Wait, no, I've got the perfect idea. Send Darwin down there to seduce it.
If it weren't for the fact that I knew that most oozes can't be charmed, I would totally be down for that, because at this point I feel like that'd be the only thing that would work. But the issue is, I know that most oozes can't be charmed, and odds are this one's probably got those same immunities. And this thing's basically just the slime version of Cthulhu, let's be honest. Like, anyways, so Aaron kind of goes back into his speech after shushing the Goliath for a second. We have to have something we can do, because in the end, the feeling this thing is after more than just bodies. There's got to be something else it'd be coming after here, because all those bodies here, I feel like there's more in the villages nearby. There's got to be something else here at once. And if it gets that, it might become unstoppable for all we know. This isn't going to be a problem we can just run away from, wait a little bit, and then come back and hope we have the solution. It looks like it's going to be the kind of problem we have to solve right here.
It
now.
certainly worked for me for several centuries.
I still volunteer to be the first one to jump if others come after me.
Bro, this Goliath is... One starts
We
talking
can
like a
kill
hood
her
rat.
with enough fire. We just need enough fire to go down there.
I have the very distinct feeling that might not be the case, but at the same time, it does make sense.
If we get enough people to light themselves on fire and
We're
jump
not lighting
down,
people on fire.
we'll boil.
Yeah, let's just light all the elves on fire and throw them down there.
Bill?
Strahd has a lot of soldiers. We can use them. As I
How-
said, I've volunteered to go first.
Darwin's just gonna sigh and just turn around, basically
How-
just lean up against the wall. Just
Do we know how hard this thing hits?
very. It literally shoots like plasma rays out of its face.
Like, what does very mean?
As in, after like just moments of fighting it, everyone had to run away. It was bad.
I was going to say, because I can set my sword on. I can set my sword on fire if we need fire, but
Also, news, it will try to eat you.
I mean that's what the news does. Yes.
Yes. Really want to get that close to it with the sword.
But it can hit me.
I think perhaps best to start getting people out of Castle Open Peak, and that the rest of you work on getting the others for their input. There might be something we are not thinking of, something that's been missed.
I think that you all are just ignoring my awesome suggestion and idea. It will totally work.
Hold on a second. Wait. I may have just had an idea. I may have had a really good idea.
Nothing's better than fire.
Okay. I just saw something. Don't need the sphere frozen time to stop something. You can just freeze it. Instead of heating it up, What if we cooled it down? Oozes are, in all intents and purposes, a liquid. There's a point where it will freeze, and at that point, unable to move.
But at the same
There's a way
time,
for
there's
us
a
to
point that it
fully
will
freeze it.
boil too.
I hate to say it, but oozes are. Trust me on this. Possibly freezing, because at that point we can easily shatter chunks off of it. If we have a way to do a mass freezing of it, then we can maybe break chunks. Or easily just break it up into tiny particulate until it's nothing but dust. Because that's probably what it's going to take to stop this thing.
Particulate? What does that mean?
Very, very tiny things. Very, very tiny pieces.
Oh, so you
So-
say
so-
we can freeze it, then I can smash it with my club into tiny pieces.
Yes, but we got to find a way to freeze all of it really fast before it finds a way to warm itself back up again.
Well, why can't we just burn it till it's no more?
Because it might have a way to fight that.
Who says it doesn't have a way to fight being frozen?
I'll tell you what. I'll let you continue chucking casks of beer down the sewers. I'm gonna go see. We've got Archmage Louise has anything magic or artifact wise that might the freezy thing very well. In the end, if the fire doesn't work, you need to stop moving. Freezing might not kill it, but it stops it from moving, stops it from progressing.
I think we should just go with Strahd's plan.
How fast was that slime climbing up the sewer pipes? Was it super slow, or was it like actually a rate to be worried of, like in the same day type deal?
We don't know.
Oh.
Wait, if
Too many
Strahd
problems,
can
not
light
enough.
if Strahd can light weapons on fire, we just hand him weapons, he lights them, and drops them down.
Wait, what?
Strahd can light weapons on fire, he said so. So, we hand him weapons, he lights them and drops them down. Use the magnet thing to make them go right to him.
At that point, we might as well just use. Well, actually, yeah, probably having some sort of stabbing weapon would probably be. The issue is why would it be using that magnetic ability of it if the weapons it pulls towards it would harm it?
Because it might, I don't know.
That's
We don't
the
have
issue.
any other way. Even then, it wouldn't expect people to light their weapons on fire. So having fire just pass right through would not be good for its health.
Unless it has more water-like properties in which it just puts out the fire easily. Age. Like, is there a point where they can get too old and die?
You're talking about if the ooze can die?
Yeah, like, if the ooze gets too old, is there like a expiration date to die of old age for oozes? Is that a thing?
I don't think the DM can tell us that.
No, I'm asking more so like in character type deal. Because Wandering Woods, time doesn't progress right in there. Actually, it'll be really funny if we got that thing, because isn't that where we believe the Heart of Darkness is right now? Is somewhere in the Wandering Woods. So if this thing and that thing managed to encounter each other, if one of them killed the other.
That would be very nice.
Because I have the feeling they weren't brought about by the same individual.
Well,
Oh,
which
you know
would
what?
kill which?
That's the issue.
Or
Also, I
would
just
the Heart of
realized,
Darkness just take it over?
did Sills ever go to grab that one lady? One who might have info on the slime, since they were like combined from people eaten by it or something like that?
I would like to say yes.
And we need to ask what's...
They know.
Yeah. Hmm. It's got to be something in that brain of theirs.
Did Sil go get the Stephanie? Hello?
I haven't heard Micah talking in a while.
Did Michael lose connection? I could come back. Any other fool could see.
Everything is accepted. Everything succeeds.
All right, I want to hit the thing so hard in the face it stops existing. Rolled a nat 20, it happens.
No. No, I jumped down the sewer with my club down pointing downwards and just smashed right through it.
Like a pogo stick.
Yes, basically. And I land unharmed, then jump all the way back up.
Parkour. Like Prince of Persia hopping between the
Parkour,
walls.
parkour.
You back? Echo?
Sorry.
Good.
My chair slid.
Oh.
So, gather up everybody who has anything of use that can be thrown down while we work on figuring out what else we can do. And those who do not have a means of fighting at distance are of no real use here.
Say, Sean, how many ballista bolts do you have?
I do not know off the top of my head. They're not something that we tend to use as often as we have them available.
Can you have all your soldiers gather up all that you got and take it down there?
We could certainly put some of the staff to it. I think the soldiers might be of more use keeping fights from breaking out at present.
I think we're kind of limited down. Oh, by the way, did the lady that Tills was fetching, is that person up there?
They are
We
now.
asked them if they know anything. Okay.
It's been enough
They
of a
have
talk
to know
today.
something. There's gotta be something this individual knows, that's all I know.
Soliloquy. They've been going more or less in circles of trying to figure out how to keep it attacked from a distance, getting people out of there, and figure out what's potent enough. And along the way of getting that individual, most of the rest of the party, one way or another, curious on who that is and what's going on, follows.
Okay, so I'm bringing her to Strahd then.
Okay. Alright. And as you enter the room, Lady Solarnum's eyes narrow. And what languages do you all speak?
Am I still go getting my sword?
You ain't getting no damn sword.
Well, I haven't been told whether I've retrieved it and returned yet.
That's why I just said that everybody else was able to be found in the time.
Okay.
So yeah, you're with them.
Common, Abyssal, and Deep
Okay.
for Dobbs.
Common, Draconic, Giants, and Sylvan for the Goliath.
Celestial.
Common.
Go for it.
Common, Elvish, Infernal, Deepscant, Sign, Deep Speech, Giant, Dwarvish, Minotaur, Primal, Sevical.
Celestial, Common, Elvish, Infernal.
Dwarven, Common, and Elvish for Darwin.
Those of you who understand deep speech, hear it before anybody else is able to understand what is going on. As Lady Solernum says, slay the abomination.
I don't see any elves here, says Syl, in deep speech.
10 on 10. Good joke. Got a chuckle.
Alright. So, as you are saying that, Strahd draws out his sword and attempts to stab.
Who's he stabbing?
The half ooze that you just brought into the room.
Alright, good thing I saved my 7th
Wait,
level
we're
spell.
trying to kill Stephanie?
That's what Lady Solernum just said.
Alright, so
We just
does Lady
brought her.
Solarum not realize that the big ooze is probably more of a problem than this person who knows probably how to kill the ooze? Like,
She has her motivations.
I mean, if it turns out that this abomination is tied to that ooze and killing it kills the big ooze, then sure, but we don't have any reason to believe that yet.
And I grab the half ooze and throw it down the hole in the basement for the other ooze to kill.
What?
I'm saying kill the half ooze with the ooze that's crawling up the pipe. Maybe it's the half
Got
ooze
that thing
the
out of the
big ooze
ooze.
wants.
Got the half ooze out of that big ooze, so I don't think it's gonna do anything.
Okay, then I'll just bash its skull in and then drop it down.
Why?
Because Lady Solarnum said to?
Did you say it in a language you understood?
No. No,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. All
Does
that I know is that
24 hit?
if one of the party is attacking,
24 does
I'm
hit.
attacking.
As you are rolling to hit, Strahd does slash into it.
Wait, Shroud is attacking it now too?
Yes.
Yes, because he's being mind controlled by Lady Solarnum, I guess.
Since I see them attacking it, can I grab it to restrain it?
Well, since Strahd is the first one, we'll be rolling initiative in just a second. One moment. I'm just checking something since he was doing the attack.
38, 10 of which is electric. Does nat 20 hit?
Yes.
Well, alright. The thing that was possibly the MacGuffin is now dying. Okay.
I love my dice.
Does Cell feel compelled to attack Stephanie?
Well, the previous mind control that was on most people has ended. With Dobbs and Sill, you have that wonderful little pact going on.
Yep. 60.
Goliath too.
So, yeah, Strahd is going to use his action surge. I was just seeing if he had a bonus action that would be of use as well. So, he's going to attack, hits, and that's another 10. Alright. Anyone else who was speaking deep speech who is still charmed? Or chooses to attack?
69 damage. 18 of which is electrical. Or wait, no, 24 of which is electrical. Damn it. It's only an 18. So that's a 28 for my bonus action attack with the other sword.
It keeps on leaving and disconnecting. Leviathan.
There we go.
31 damage, 2 of which is force.
Okay. Between Strahd and Dobbs attacking, the half ooze is missing chunks and staggered on the ground, just this look of painful disbelief and shock on their face.
Still is a little sad.
Darwin probably didn't have time to react in the first place, but now he actually is he's gonna kind of step in between, just kind of shout, just wait a goddamn fucking second.
20 initiative.
Yeah, so kind of figured you guys would be going first, but point. Okay, we literally just brought this individual up here because they know how to stop the really, really big problem down here, and for some reason you all think the best problem is taking her out. Like, obviously it was all triggered by something you just said, Lady Solarnum. I hate to be rude about it. They're talking about being a
Then
rival?
don't be.
Right. If this is the person that you have as your rival, be honest, really couldn't have picked a worse time to attack. Because this individual might have the knowledge we need, and now there's a very good chance he ain't gonna give it to us.
Dobbs will automatically attack the next opportunity he will get again. So if there's a whole lot of talking, yeah.
So,
Is the slime already dead though?
close.
Dobbs does dumb damage. I thought about action surging.
All right, everybody, roll up your initiative.
20.
Is there a way before this happens? Am I able to do? I want to try and persuade Lady Solarnum to just wait on taking out a rival until we can figure out if there's any easy way of taking out the big thing.
If your initiative is higher than 20.
22.
I'm praying to the gods here on this one. because I do not have a big initiative bonus.
27.
Because
I'm sorry. My lady told me to do something.
and your ultimate goal is to protect your lady, right?
I signed a pact with her. So
Ah.
she
It's like the ultimate goal to
As
keep her
did
alive,
I.
right?
I'm her man. She told me to do something.
Kale?
Yeah, you're mad. You wish.
22.
Okay.
Even a
Please.
soldier can be somebody's
Please.
man. Doesn't have to be sexual.
Kale
Mhm.
and Goliath, roll again. Or what's your modifier?
Plus
Decima?
3.
+5.
Okay. So then
For initiative or...
that would be Kale first between the two of you, since you both had the same roll but different modifier.
Please, oh 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 please. Roll an 18.
Sounds like it was bad for you.
No, it was really. I roll an 18. I have a +3 initiative modifier. I got a 21. But the issue is everyone else goes before me except for Dubs. And I have the feeling everyone else is going to attack and not see through with logic, so oh well. Damn it.
So, top of the round, Sil.
Really don't want to stab Stephanie.
Well, you are considered charmed. You're not forced to make a specific action. But you will act more favorably to what they ask and not want to attack them directly.
Yeah, definitely don't want to attack the lady. Because of the charm effect. But she really doesn't want to attack Stephanie. So, what are all of our positions in this room?
You pretty much just came in the room with, quote unquote, Stephanie, just slightly in front of you, right before Lady Zolernum says the abomination. So.
So Strahd and Dobbs are in front of her, and I'm in the perfect position to stab her in the back.
Yep, and brought her right there to do it.
No, Stephanie, don't hate
Good job,
me.
still.
See, this is why people think she's a bad person.
I mean, I thought that you were.
What happened?
Oh, still brought them in and is in the right position for a sneak attack, so. Like I said, you don't have to, but, you know, it'd be...
I want to know the
Alright.
perfect.
You
I'm
think
gonna
that
roll.
there's another
the-
better thing that would be served by not killing her.
It's a perfect way to kind of show Darwin in the middle of this. He's in the middle of the house. He's that dog whose entire house is on fire, and he's like, "This is fine." And like the next extra frame over, his face is melting. He's like, "Oh shit, wait."
So, Lady Sonarnum said to attack the monstrosity. What did she say
Slay
specifically?
the abomination.
Ah. Damn.
And she meant Stephanie.
Was it in a language that you understood?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
language does he not understand?
Stephanie gotta go. Gonna attack her. an advantage. It could have been a nat 20, but that's a 14. So that is 27.
I think that hits.
Does that hit? Okay. So using the elvish short sword. Excuse me. Damage. Five, 8, 11, 17, 20, 22, 23.
78 plus 3 just feels like less and less healing points the more and more I hear people counting up damage dice.
30.
Be such a slow
30
motherfucker.
slashing damage. Non-magical.
And how do you want to slay the abomination?
No! Stephanie! I thought you would be resistant to damage.
The issue is, it's all it seems to be a part of the big ooze. It doesn't seem to carry any of its power. Wait,
She's
you know what? I
just
just
gonna
realized.
decapitate her, because that's her MO.
There's a communicate
Just
with dead
slash.
spell, isn't there?
Speak with dead, yes.
Oh,
And
never mind.
still
We're fine.
knows how
if
to
she
do
does.
that.
So, well, yeah. So we technically don't need him alive, so it's not that big of a problem. Never mind. I mean, they're
So
probably not going to
just-
talk too much, but
Just, well, she's distracted with Strahd and Dubs. Just straight up decapitates her.
I mean, I suppose that's a more pleasant way to go than what Strahd and Dobbs were about to do to her. At least that's more instantaneous. Arwen's not going to be happy with it, but... Well, I guess with plausible deniability, technically speaking, for all we know, this big slime being there is because of this half-ooze, so...
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, ain't he like a lawful good cleric or some shit?
No, I am a, neutral good, bard.
You're still good at two shoes.
Pretty much.
As they fall on the ground, heads separated, and just blood pouring out. Jelly as it may be compared to a more human type. Lady Salarnum just waves a hand a little bit, and there's a thin bluish-green wisp that comes out of the body. This tortured look of pain around, looking at the room on its face, before she ushers it over to her mouth and sucks it in.
Hey, don't tell me they just took the thing that we were able to talk to.
Dobbs goes over and stabs the head and the heart.
Alright, well, that's dealt with.
Arwen has probably just the biggest, like, look of just, Jesus fucking Christ on his
And
face. And
then-
he's like,
And then goes and stands, like near rear, like flank of Lady Slarm.
At least tell me, by eating whatever that was, you gain the knowledge of it. Please. I'm running out of ideas here. Really don't want to see anyone else dragged down to their doom through the sewer drains. Drains? Drains.
Tilts your head, thinking for a moment. I know what it knew, which unfortunately wasn't sufficient enough to be of use. However, the fragment of my rival's soul left in such a state would have been disastrous if left to draw upon that, especially in proximity to that thing.
Well, at least that solves part of the problem then. Okay. I wish we had more knowledge. But evidently, no. Oh, this is why I didn't go to college for fucking logistics. This is why I went to college for music. Janitorial staff here, if I'm being perfectly honest, Count Strahd. So please let me let him a little bit of a warning next time before I think everyone's just gone mad. I've had to deal with enough already, and I am not in a position to handle much more surprises.
I think that perhaps what Strahd suggested might be of use. Plus, I would like very much to meet this sister of Lady Gisela.
Oh, she's over in the Shimmer, right? And no one was able to find her, unfortunately. Although, Shimmer's in a different plane, right?
Yes.
Kind of character. Okay. Well,
Whole new major plane.
thing is time works differently in the planes, right? Does it work slower or faster in the Shimmer compared to here?
Go ahead and make a Arcana check or a History check.
We're definitely going history on this bitch. Yeah, 25 plus 10 for the win. All right.
As far as you recall from stories that dealt with the Shimmer and another plane, and then between the Frostheart and another plane, because there's not been many that are directly going from one to the other in Tales. Your rough estimate would be maybe about 11 hours to 24, maybe 13, somewhere around the neighborhood of about a half day to a full day. That the Shimmer is slightly faster.
So a half day, like in the Frost Harp, is like
A full day
slightly
in the
more.
Shimmer.
Okay. So technically
Shimmer.
speaking, if we were able to track down the sister fast enough in the Shimmer, get those items back, then when we come back, less time will have passed. That might, could definitely work. Yeah. We can find whatever she has. If she's got those artifacts, that's going to be one of the main things we'll have to fight that thing.
Indeed. But we still have the matter of getting the staff and others out of here, just in case it takes time.
At least in terms of magic, I'm in no place to help with that either. I'm holding on to threads of magic here for today.
So, we're going to the Shimmer, I guess.
Unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be the only option.
It is not necessarily the only option, but
The
it
best.
would be the quickest, most likely. Simply because we don't know if trying to just simply keep attacking won't drive this gargantuan slime out of the sewers and into the valley, or if it won't perhaps speed up ascending out of the sewers into the castle, where we don't have time to react, or the very possibility that it and the Heart of Darkness might either fight each other and cause great devastation, or ally, or even potentially merge. None of which are outcomes that I would wish to see occur.
That's because Lord knows that we're having a rougher time fighting one of these things on their own. If they merge, that's... Well, I'd say that's pretty much game over right there.
It is a possibility, at least. Okay, anyone else?
Um, I think during the chaos, the sisters will enact their plan against Riordan. And I don't know if what's her name? Umbra would want to go, but she definitely would not want to stay in the Frostheart.
Well, something that can be decided before the next session, then.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyone else?